Florida voters will be considering 6 referendums to determine if they should become part of the state constitution. Last night, News 13's Grace Velez previewed one of the 6 dealing with the right to hunt and fish. Tonight, she takes a look at one of the more controversial and confusing questions, Amendment 3, legalizing recreational use of marijuana.
The hot topic of legalizing recreational marijuana has prompted lots of discussion and misinformation. State Representative Griffiths addressed some of the misconceptions.
It does not allow you to grow it at home, and it has to be purchased through licensed dispensaries or those folks who have the medical marijuana license in the state of Florida. So it's not complete legalization. I think there's a kind of a perception that this is Colorado or California legalization, and it's really not.
Smart and Safe Florida is sponsoring the initiative. It would allow adults 21 or older to possess, purchase, or use marijuana products and accessories recreationally. It reached a ballot as a citizen-initiated amendment.
Clearly, Republican Party in the state of Florida is having some issues. They're kind of split on it. There's some folks that are in support of it. And there's some folks that are completely against it.
One of those is local state senator Jay Trumbull.
It's a pretty broad amendment, and I'm personally going to vote no on the amendment.
Trumbull admits Florida has come a long way with medical marijuana use, but he isn't interested in someone smoking recreationally in parks or in Panama City Beach.
It is not a true clean amendment that I really do believe will be detrimental to our state.
The Florida legislature would retain full authority to regulate public use of marijuana, protecting clean, family-friendly public spaces. There's also disagreement over the economic impact of recreational marijuana.
So you could tax marijuana, which would be, some of the reports I've seen are billions of dollars in revenue a year. And if we could make sure that that revenue is, there's a nexus in what it's being used for. If we're going to do this and treat it correctly, we should take that money and spend it on appropriate measures, real appropriate measures that benefit the state and the people of the state.
Griffiths would support the tax revenue going to public education. Trumbull remains firmly opposed regarding economic benefits.
Florida has led and continues to lead on funding for education and school choice. We have one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country, and so I think that saying that recreational use of marijuana is going to somehow increase both of those things, I think is flawed.
In Bay County, Grace Velez, News 13, Panhandle Strong.
We'll be previewing the remaining 4 amendments in the days leading up to October 21st when early voting starts. We'll take a look at another one of the amendments tomorrow night on News 13 at 6.